full of it, Moss. Mossy come. Mossy come. Moss come. Moss come. Bogey bog. Well, chance to just sit down for a while the kids play. It's been another long, hard, hot day, but another one dog down. So we're doing okay. One thing I remember my dad telling me all the time was, he said, you don't go anywhere in the bush without your rifle. He said, always have a rifle with you. And he said, even if you go to the loo, if you go to lay a small deposit on a piece of ground, he said, have your rifle with you, because you never know when you're going to need it. Wheeler, what you doing, old boy? Good boy. Bogey bog, bogey bog. And this one here is a classic. This is the rifle I shot my first deer with when I was just over 11 years old. I can still remember it as vividly and plainly as you can imagine. It was a 5.5, a 10-pointer, and I was with Dad. It was just the start of the rut in 1972, okay, 1972. And yeah, this lovely 5.5 come running out behind a mob of hinds, and Dad said flatten him, and I just knelt down behind a log, took aim with this beautiful old piece and laid this stag flat on his back, and that's where I ended up too. It kicked me straight over backwards. I was only a little tiny tacker, and I didn't start growing until I was 15. No, actually till I was 16. Anyway, yeah, it knocked me over on my back too, right over, and when I struggled to my feet, all I could see was this foot kicking in the grass. And he was my first stag, one shot. Right, now this is a Remington Model 700. It's, yeah, I've affectionately called it the Crowbar through my whole life, because you look at the size of the barrel on that thing. It's nearly an inch thick barrel. And my dad, when we come to our property Langley at the top of the Brisbane Valley in Queensland, he sent a message over to his good mate in America, Richie Gordon, and he said, Richie, I want a rifle for shooting dogs, for shooting dingoes. He said, I want to be able to hit them out of sight. So yeah, Reggie Gordon, he said, well, I'll get you something that you can hit them out of sight with. So I got him the 700, Remington 700, 243. So this is about 1965 model, I think, or 66 model. It was the deluxe version at the time with the Monte Carlo cheek piece and engraving and everything. You see it now, the bluings, you know, beat off it. The varnish on the stock is scarred and weathered. But this thing has done, what's that, 50 odd years of hard service, and it still shoots beautifully. It had a Weaver scope on it, and that finally failed only 2 years ago. My dad gave this rifle to me just before he died, and it's been like his main rifle all that time, and he passed it on to me. So it's it's very, very special to us, this rifle. And I'll do the same thing, I'll pass it on. But the best shot I've ever seen Dad do with it was when we had the deer on our property Langley. We were having a lot of trouble with predators, and with dingoes coming in, I was trapping them, and we had a lot of fawns getting killed. And I saw Dad take a 610 metre shot with this, because we stepped it out, and later on we got a rangefinder on it. We thought it was about 600 metres, and it ended up being 610. And he put this thing over on its back. It took him, probably Dad looked at it for about 30 seconds to a minute, and clearly click in his head. But Dad was an incredible shot. Jim McGhie, or Jimmy, James Spence McGhie. There's one heck of a story about that guy. He's, to me, he was my sort of legend, my hero growing up. We didn't always see eye to eye, but that was just by the by, because it didn't change the father and son feelings. Yeah, so what I'll do very soon on our Patreon channel is I will start detailing the life of James Spence McGhie, and a lot of the stuff he did in New Zealand, culling deer, guiding on the Wapiti, shooting literally tens of thousands of buffalo in the territory, Northern Territory, roo shooting, you name it. He was a remarkable shot. Just one of those people that a rifle like this was just an extension of his arm or of his finger. It was like you pointed your finger at something, it was like bang, it was hit. He was a classic shot. But anyway, that's Smile 243. It still groups just incredibly well. It's only got a Burra scope on it here now that's only a 7 power. I've got to put a better scope on it one of these days, and I will refurbish it, re-blue it. But for Dad, he said, your rifles have got to, you look after them, but they are a tool. They are a tool of your trade. You've got to use them and don't abuse them. If they get a bit of varnish knocked off, or they get some bluing knocked off or whatever in the course of what you do, well, too bad, because they are a tool. They're a work tool. So there it is, the classic, the old Crowbar. Let's go and see if we can find something. Hey? You want to shoot something? You reckon? What do you think? You're a nong. Clear. Deadbolt. And he wouldn't have it any other way. If the old man could see you using the safety on something, he would just rip you a new one. You either had to have it bolt up, right? Bolt down, you're going to fire, bolt up, unloaded. And if you unload it, you called clear, you looked up your chamber, you checked it clear, you made sure it was clear, and then you dead bolted, made sure the safety was locked, it couldn't work, that it couldn't fire, and that's the way it stayed, okay? And this is from many, many years. Not many people that would have put more rounds down range during his life than my old man. Ready to go? Come on. Well, good morning, everyone. We're out now checking results of night 5. So day 6 on the job. I took a little bit of time this morning to answer a few questions and reply to a few comments online. Thank you everybody for that. That really helps to drive our channel along when we get comments. A few people say, I need a new 4-wheel drive. Well, what's wrong? I haven't worn this one out yet. And trust me, there's few people that can wear a vehicle out better than I can. Yep. People say I'd wreck the Lord's Prayer if I knew it. Anyway, let's get at it. Thank you, and if you could like and share this video around, it'd be a big help. Let's go catch some dogs. I'm just picking my way through some of this parthenium and tall grass around piles of rocks. What are you panting for? You haven't done anything. Okay, we come down into this next street crossing. What have we got here? Pig whaler. Could be a dog. Okay, here's the gate of the day. Steel posts filled with concrete. Beautiful assemblies. Double latch. I call a bit of country boy art. Right, we're heading down towards Stallion Dam, doing this loop, and you never know. Those dog tracks that we saw in the gully might be where this lot was hunting overnight. Nothing here. Now, as I cruise around here every day, I end up talking to myself, which is basically talking to you guys, and singing songs. Always singing a song or two badly, but I write a few songs. I've written probably about a dozen, I suppose, now, and I've tried to make up my own music for it. I'll pick away on my old axe there, my old Takamine. I've got a couple of guitars, I think about 5 now, but I'm no talent. But I have got a few songs there, so if there's anybody that's out there that's listening and watching the clips and you'd like to work on a few country songs for me, send me a personal message, because I'd love to get some of my songs in the hands of somebody with some talent and sort of see whether we can bring something out of them that's worthwhile. So yeah, give me a call. I'll look at the road there, nothing, no sign. It looks like these dogs are killing, and they'll have a feed and then they'll go and they won't come back, which is pretty typical. I've seen them do that with, well, years ago, a classic example was when I had my deer farm. They'd come in, dig under the fence, come in, kill a deer, take a feed, and never go back near that carcass. You couldn't use a carcass to trap on. And that's what I find here most of the time. You've got to sort of try and get ahead of them. So what I'll do here now, I'll freshen up those scents. I'll freshen those up and put a little bit more scent. For some reason they haven't committed. They've been here. Okay, our next set, the one's up by the water trough. So we've got 5 sets up here. And I think these dogs are back on the line, so fingers crossed up here, eh? Well, that's disappointing. I'll check on the Reconics and see if anything's been there. They might have been here and just won't go near the traps. They might be getting a bit trap shy. I don't think so though, I don't think so. I think if they're back here, 5 dogs, one of them would make a mistake. Sit. So you kicked the trap out. Well done, morons. Get. Go on, get. With your little snack pack, I'm trying to save it. Get. Well, it had to happen. So humid. It's raining. Hey, what do you reckon? Okay, I thought I had cattle here. I've got a trap scratcher. Track there, track here, track there, definite. Right. There, scratched away at the side of that trap. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll leave something here. This is where we caught that dog. So what I'll do is I'll put a couple of blind traps in here as well. And I'll cover that, and I'll put something here that they can look at. I'll put something probably over there that they can look at. I think that's where they've got to go. Get them to scratch that, try to scratch that, and I'll have a couple of blinds set around. Righto, well, let's party. Now this situation is unfolding like in front of our eyes here. We've got that trail camera there where we saw the 5 other dogs, young dogs, around the one we trapped on the Reconics, the footage off the Reconics camera. Those dogs have disappeared. That was about, probably as the crow flies, about 5 k's that way, so it's on the east, pretty much due east. Now, the next night after that was taken, caught one here in this trap, and I thought it was a different animal, different mob. But after seeing these tracks here now. I'm just wondering whether it's the same dogs. Now, what they've done here, I reckon, is they've come in back to the place where they saw their mate caught, and they know there's a trap there because they saw it on its foot. So they've gone to where they saw that steel thing and they saw their buddy caught, and they've started to sniff around there and dig at it, and I think that's why they've located the trap. Now what I've done is I've come here and I've put one off to one side by that little tree there, and put it on there just with a bit of scat from the dog. Actually, which dog was that? The dog we caught about 10 k's away yesterday over here. So it's a different out of town dog that I've put the scat there. That's off to one side. I've come about probably 4 foot, I suppose, 1.5 meters to the left hand side of the trap that I was scratching, and I've put a blind one in here. And I've put a little bit of fat on a rock visible, something, so it's off to one side as well. So if they're looking at it, I'm hoping they'll take their attention off that where they've been scratching, and there's a blind trap in there that they could quite easily walk onto. So there's sort of 2 traps there, one there, and there's been one here the whole time over this other side, and they haven't got near it. But I think if they've got one caught, there'll be a good chance to get another one over there. But we could have them up here in the next trap set. Let's go and have a look. Nothing. This is one of the favourite places, and there literally has been no activity here at all. Incredible. I've nearly given up hope. We'd come right around most of the traps. I've still got about a dozen in one area, 3 in another, so 15 more traps, I suppose, to check, but there's been very, very little sign. Anyway, I came down to the gully here where we saw, right early on, we saw 2 sets of tracks go through this gully just after the rain. And here we've got a saddleback looking dog, white tip on its tail, fair bit of black in it. I'll get in a bit closer and shoot this little guy. What do you reckon? Hey. Careful, you pair. Another trap. Brandon, cut it out. Brandon, cut it out. Brandon, come. Cut it out. That's enough out of you. What's all these heroics? Go down there and bash it up. You don't need to do that. All tough when things are going your way, aren't you? Hey? Okay, righto, good result. We'll drive across there now. Okay, another little male. Same age. Last year's pups. Big scrub tick on him, see? Another one there. Saddleback, skinny. This trap's still intact, but it's been walked over something like birds. Righto, well that's brought up number 9. Very good, number 9.